Hey guys, it's Derek here, and I want to go over kind of my Moonlight characters that you would want to aim for when using Milestone of Radiance, when using the selector from it, and all like the free ML selectors that we get throughout this event. So, obviously, if you can, the top units, my top 10 would be Scales, Arunka, Ruel, Diane, Yolha, New Moon Luna, Notos, Ilanov, Bellion, and Celine. I'll give you a reason. Scales, hands down the strongest character in the game at the moment. The best support, gives abundance, which lets you deal damage, and you have to kill the frontline unit first. Not much counterplay, and she's very aggressive, so she can play almost any style. Arunka has been a staple DPS for a long time. She's been Rocket Punch, countering, one-shotting DPSs that are squishy, and she has very good bulk to survive a lot of things, as well as damage. And she works really well in her city games and just like long duration fights. However, this meta shift has been forced where we're basically forcing anything and everything to be HP. Defense is a useless stat, so Arunka is now useless as a DPS, which is insane, but that has not pushed her out of the meta. Now we're playing her with prot set, with immunity, and as much tank as possible HP wise, and then playing her on stuff like POV and Crown of Glory to help prevent our back units taking damage, as well as stopping her from getting one shot by things like Hecate and Tamarulika. Now, Ruel, this character is hands down probably the second most broken character on this list to Lady of the Scales. She can't die majority of the time. Her base stats are insane. Damage limit is probably the most obnoxious debuff, and the fact that her invincibility and damage limit change so well to just keep reviving her allies and keeping them from dying, as well as many mechanics like having a Runko damage limited into a single target only team, you basically auto win as long as you have the damage to keep up. Uh, the only flaw to this character is she has no way to prevent herself from being controlled after she's revived. But her revive, basically CR pushes herself to revive someone else, so she has basically little counterplay because you have to somehow control her after the revive, you have to deal with her, and her revive has no duration. So like it will be first time you kill her no matter what. So it could be Battle Frenzy 7 and you're pronking it, and you just basically have to deal with her respawning, taking a turn over your team, and reviving a big threat in Battle Frenzy 7. MLDN, this character is really OP. There's some counterplay to her, but it's not that clear cut. Um, I think she's very strong into slower players, but faster players, there's a lot more counterplay towards her. Um, she's very strong in the fact that she has ignore ER seal and 200 ER when she has immortality, so she can't really be affected by many things. Dual attack with the highest attack ally is always going to be nice, as well as rupture, dealing damage into low ER characters. We have ML Yulha, which is like kind of the bread and butter with Yulha Ruel comps. Uh, her superhumanized kind of ends game super fast. She provides debuff dispel as well as healing every time you take a turn. So she's really nice sustain for very aggressive comps, but she's not reliable sustain for turn 2. Her passive, giving her high attack, gives her a lot of damage on her bleed detonates from S1, so she kind of plays a very versatile role, but I think she's very aggressive oriented, so in turn 2, etc., she's not going to be as prominent as stuff like Ruel and Scales. New Moon Luna, she's kind of fallen out of the meta compared to when she was released, but she still provides Seal and Unbuffable at the start of the turn, ignore ER with Soulbird, as well as decent damage with her S2 and cycling, so you should not sleep on her. She's right now kind of the prime anti-Bipless character for some, but I wouldn't say she's the reliable anti-Bipless, as the meta's kind of formulating. She's kind of been solved. Notos, this character is hit or miss. When he takes a turn, he can annihilate characters from the game. No counterplay, basically. Like, there's You can pick Setsuka, Melona, and lose the game to the other 4 units. Basically, is the counterplay, or he's completely useless because the enemy team will cleave, and he has no way to survive cleave. You basically have to draft 4 units to help him survive cleave, and if they ban him, you need your other DPS to basically deal with the cleave units. So I think he's not the strongest, but his counterplay is very little to none, which is why a lot of players opt to ban him. Next we have Ilinov, which we have so much pen in the game. She's pretty good anti-pen, as well as being debuff dispeller. She has injury, as well as CR push, so she's taking turns and cycling her injury and damage. But I think she's kind of fallen out of the meta with the prominence of Biplis, with the prominence of MLDN, Arunka not being the good DPS like she used to. Elinov doesn't really have a good partner to like fight with, so she's not that important. But I think she is still a strong character that can be used when in the right hands. Bellion also fell out of the meta really hard with Melona. You cannot pick her early. She's not really playable because of that. Late you can pick her, but at that point she will be banned if they're utilizing souls. She still counters Spirit Isoline, but most people aren't playing Spirit Isoline. And then the final 10th character that I chose is Spirit Isoline because she is probably the strongest DPS out of every ML5. She's the most consistent, very strong, and has very good snowball potential. Honorable mentions, I would say, are Witch Tenebria, Briar Witch, and Monarch. These will be the last ones I talk about. Monarch is just really good. If she counters non-stop, she basically can annihilate a lot of the meta characters from the game. But some meta characters she's struggling to, so she's kind of a late pick, not kind of guaranteed win unless you draft really well. Briar Witch's Zarya is kind of the bread and butter of cleave. Anti-revive is super strong into the likes of Roel, Yolha, being very prominent, Notos with Holy Sack, and other stuff like Genesis Ross. And defense break and CR push up from her artifact is kind of what keeps her strong. And then Witch Tenebria, this character is absurdly broken only if you land debuffs and if they have no way to just chain revive their team after you kill with her S2, S3 combo. Her S1 is very strong since it's soul burn, extra turn, dual attacks. But I think her biggest flaw right now is if you get 15%ed, you can auto lose the game. But if you land everything, you auto win the game. But it's all up to RNG. And then she needs a lot of souls to kind of like keep her tempo up after she does her S3, S2 combo. And then I also think like she's very weak into Ruel if you don't have souls, because you need the cycle and get your debuffs back up after Ruel revives. But outside of that, she's very strong, very consistent. Like, if you are drafting well, the debuff misses would not matter as much for her, and you win off her S2, S1s. But yeah, B tier, these are just characters that are very strong still, but I don't think they're worth kind of going for before you grab S and A tier characters. C tier characters, they have their niche. They're not really important. You're not really going to play them much unless you really like these characters or in a really niche scenario. And then I would just try to avoid D tier at all costs unless you like the character. If you like the character, then go for it. That's about it. I'll see you guys in the next video.